After the amazing months of September, October and November, the last month of the year is all about winding down and looking back. On Zoomin Games, we will look back at some of the worst and best games of the year. You can also vote for your favorite game of the year in our Zoomin Games community vote. But December isn't completely void of new games. So let's take a look at the titles that are being released this month. And yes, this time we'll also mention DLC.
I'm in. Let's go to Elysium. I'll take you there myself.
The month has an amazing start with the release of the Nintendo Switch exclusive role-playing game Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The game is set on the back of giant living titans. Each titan offers different regions, wildlife and secrets. These titans are moving towards their doom and it's your job to save the world.
Pyra!
Here!
Cover me!
Got it!
Gather allies, find treasure, get better gear, increase your power and save the world of Alrest. And best of all, you can take this epic role-playing game with you wherever you go.
Strong smack! Hit it, no! Ow!
Guardian, what I'm about to tell you stays between us. While we have been fighting, an ancient gate has opened on Mercury.
Destiny 2 has seen some negative feedback based on the lack of content. Fans have been begging for more stuff to play, and with Curse of Osiris, the online shooter is getting its first major expansion. This expansion comes with a new story focused on a legendary warlock named Osiris.
If I don't stop the Vex, there won't be anything to come back to. I'm doing this for the both of us.
Don't you even... Osiris!
The DLC also has a new mode called Raid Lair, and of course there's lots of new gear to acquire. The expansions were valuable additions to the first game, and we expect the same from the Curse of Osiris. If you didn't have the chance to dive into Horizon Zero Dawn yet, we'd advise you to get the complete edition. This package includes the award-winning main game and its first and only expansion, The Frozen Wilds. Now that's a whole lot of amazing gameplay in one package. Horizon is an open-world action role-playing game in which humanity is no longer ruling the planet. Robot dinosaurs took over, and now you have to find out what happened. We highly recommend this great PlayStation 4 exclusive.
We know war. It has been at our side for millennia, coming and going with the indifference of the tides.
After more than a decade, the Spellforce series is finally getting a sequel. Spellforce 3 blends elements from role-playing games with real-time strategy mechanics. This game is a prequel to the series, and you become part of the high fantasy world called Io. The kingdom is in chaos after it was torn apart in the war.
His magic brought mayhem.
Elves, humans, and orcs are battling it out in a bloody conflict. You conquer territory, recruit soldiers, research technology, and upgrade your own hero with new skills and gear.
There are those who believe our fight is unjust.
After the PC release a few months ago, Battlestar Galactica Deadlock is now also launching on consoles. In this turn-based strategy game in space, you get to control the colonial fleet during the First Cylon War.
Tell the Atlas carrier to intercept and start soaking up their fire. Burn the Tilium reserves if they have to.
The fleet consists of many ships, and you need to protect them all. If you've watched the famous television series, which you should, this game is a proper adaptation. You'll invest a lot in protecting your precious ships, and yet you will lose some of the most valuable ones, no matter how good you are. Back in 2008, Loco Roco 2 was an amazing game on the PSP. And now one of the best games for the Sony handheld is getting a 4K upgrade. The game, of course, follows the remaster of the first game that was released earlier this year on the PlayStation 4. In the Loco Roco games, you control a blob and you need to make the blob grow as much as possible. You have to remain undamaged, gather everything there is to be gathered, and do it as fast as humanly possible. Back in 2006, Okami was released on the PlayStation 2, followed by a release on the Nintendo Wii. The game was praised everywhere and became a cult classic. Okami has already seen a remaster on the PS3, and now is coming to the PC, PS4 and Xbox One. When it comes to gameplay, you can compare the game with the more traditional The Legend of Zelda games. But Okami really stands out with its graphics, making it a must-have for true gamers.
Chris, did we lose him?
No. Ethan Winters has been secured. He's alive and well considering.
And Lucas Baker? Right now, he's our only link to the connections.
He's next on my list.
In January, Capcom launched Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The survival horror game was praised by many and has seen some DLC during the year. Both the Not a Hero and the End of Zoe chapters are included in the gold edition of the game. It also contains the banned footage DLC.
Sounds like time running out for you. Take top, Christopher.
Resident Evil 7 really is a revival of the franchise as it goes back to its horror roots. This means lots of creepy moments, a lack of weapons, and all kinds of gruesome deaths. If you didn't experience the terrible horrors of the Baker family yet, you really need to check this out. It's amazing that a game that only scores a 6 out of 10 on Steam sells over 20 million copies. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is one of the biggest hits of 2017, and it's now also coming to the Xbox One. The game will be available through the Xbox One Game Preview program, which basically is the same idea as early access on Steam. Yes, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds isn't even finished yet. The game is still in development, and it's a phenomenon already. 100 people, limited gear, guns and vehicles, an ever-shrinking player field, and only one can survive.
A king cannot lead by standing still. A king pushes onward always, accepting the consequences and never looking back.
The open-world role-playing game Final Fantasy XV had a steady stream of DLC over the year. Episode Ignis will be the last and hopefully the best one yet. In each of the content expansions, you get to dive deeper into the backstory of a character. This time, you will discover a lot more about Ignis. The creators have stated that this episode has a huge impact on the story of the game. Episode Ignis will feature multiple endings and new music from Chrono Trigger composer Mitsuda. So all that's more than enough reason to be hyped about this final piece of DLC.
I swore an oath to stand with Noct and keep him safe, whatever it takes.
There you have it, the 10 biggest game releases for December. Are you hyped about one of the new games, or are you happy to dive back into an older game thanks to its newly released DLC? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to vote for your favorite game of the year by clicking on the link below.
Who says warlocks are better with books than with guns? Okay, it was me. But I was lying.